Good afternoon. It is day 3 under a heat warning from Environment Canada.
The temperature is expected to hit the mid-30s again today, with the humidex making it feel more than 40. CTV's Janice Golding is talking to people about how they're coping. She joins us now live. Janice, it is the noon hour. How's it feeling out there?
Well, I'm in the shade right now, Michelle, so it's not so bad. But as soon as you walk into the sun, it is just a scorcher. This is day 3 of an unrelenting heat wave in our city, with record-breaking temperatures hitting much of southern Ontario this week. In fact, Environment Canada has confirmed that yesterday was the hottest day that Toronto has seen in nearly a decade, hitting 36 degrees Celsius at Pearson International Airport. That makes it the hottest June 23rd on record. And it's the hottest temperature recorded in our city since July 13th, 2016. The daytime high today is expected to be slightly cooler than Monday's record-breaking heat, hitting a daytime high of 33 degrees Celsius, although given how muggy it is out here, it will still feel more like the low 40s. Experts have cautioned people to stay indoors whenever possible and to stay hydrated. We did catch up with some people today, however, who have no choice but to work outdoors, and here's how they are handling the heat.
So setting up for a barbecue, it's definitely a challenge.
These 2-3 days, it's a bit too much.
For me, you know, I get a little bit of shade and then I'm out in the sun. I'm not in the sun 24 hours. And if they ask you to do something in the sun, you do it. You do it as good as you can and you get out.
Now, we are expected to get a reprieve from the worst of the heat tomorrow with a high of 28 degrees, although it's still going to feel about 33 degrees Celsius with the humidity. Cooler temperatures are expected to set in on Thursday and Friday, however, with some rain moving in to cool things down. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Michelle and Nathan.
Thank you, Janice. Still to come, CTV News has learned a man charged this week in connection with a 1991 murder is the same person convicted in the so-called cottage murders back in 1992. We have more news in a moment, but first, here's a live look at the city this afternoon. Again, a heat warning is in effect, so if you're on the roads, hopefully you've got air conditioning in the car. A reminder to take all the necessary precautions, lots of water, loose-fitting clothes, lots of sunblock. Let's bring in Lindsay Morrison, another hot one, Lindsay.
Yes, and as we mentioned, this is day 3 of the heat warning, Nathan. It's also day 3 of an official heat wave. Yes, we have already surpassed that status. It is 33 degrees this hour in Toronto. It was 33 degrees just before about 10 a.m. today, so very hot. You'll find a little bit of relief close to the waterline, but overall, it's still feeling into the 40s in many areas. It is worth mentioning that the heat warning has come to an end for areas around Georgian Bay, so some relief is coming. It is in sight, not today for us here in Toronto, but tomorrow we're going to start to notice a bit of a change. Winds coming out of the southwest right now. All is quiet on the satellite and radar. You may have noticed a slight increase in cloud out there today, and then this afternoon we've got a slight chance of a shower and risk of a thunderstorm. Better chance of this happening across southwest Ontario. There's our forecast high for today, 34 degrees, feeling like 43. We'll take you through a full look at the weather forecast coming up. For now, Michelle, over to you.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Lindsay. Let's head to the water now, where there's a new plan to keep motorized boats away from the beach at Hanlan's Point.
Well, that's a police boat behind us, taking our crew out to the new waterfront exclusion zone in front of the beach, aimed at curbing the noise for beachgoers. CTV's Rahim Ladhani joins us now from the waterfront with more on this. Rahim.
Hey, Nathan, you know, we're in the middle of a heat wave. Canada Day long weekend is just around the corner. There are so many reasons to get out and enjoy the water. And so the Toronto Police Marine Unit wants to make sure that everyone that does so safely, because boating is just like driving a car. It's a privilege, and one mistake on the water could cost a life. In fact, last week they held a safety blitz and they stopped 28 vessels. 21 tickets were handed out, and a large focus of that was on speed. Not everyone on the water is in a motorized watercraft. There are kayakers, paddlers, and so while someone may be in control of their watercraft, the literal ripple effect could be extremely dangerous. As you mentioned, new this year is a pilot program to better protect swimmers and non-motorized watercraft users. Buoys have been installed to mark a 200-meter exclusion zone off the shoreline of Hanlan's Point. That's to show that all motorized vessels, including jet skis and Sea-Doos, are prohibited from entering this designated area. Now, our cameraman, Brian Weatherhead, was out on the water this morning and spoke with the Marine Unit. Take a look.
A lot of marine fatalities and marine accidents can be prevented with boat safety plans, boat safety course, wearing the proper safety equipment, and knowing how to operate your vessel and where you're going to operate your vessel. So it's an educational phase for this zone. Like again, it's new for everybody, and it is there's a safety protocol, and that's what's paramount to us.
Now, in addition to that rule, there's also a 400-meter quiet zone off Hanlan's beach that's also in effect. That's asking boaters to keep volume off the boat to a minimum in respect for everyone else in that area. Reporting live, I'm Rahim Ladhani. I'll send it back to you both in studio.
Thank you, Rahim. Automated cameras will soon be used along streetcar routes to make sure drivers in cars stop when streetcars stop.
That word came with the announcement of a new campaign aimed at making sure passengers can get on and off streetcars safely. CTV's Mike Walker is on Queen Street West this afternoon. He joins us live with more of the details. Mike.
Well, Michelle and Nathan, that will be a 9-month pilot program that will launch later this year that will see the automated cameras installed on 4 streetcars. They'll operate like a speed or red light camera. In the meantime, the TTC launching a new 6-week campaign today, reminding drivers of their legal obligation to stop behind a streetcar with its doors open. Now, the campaign will include decals on the TTC's entire fleet of streetcars that reads, "We stop, you stop." According to the TTC, between 2014 and 2021, 141 people were hit by vehicles while boarding and getting off streetcars. The current fine for not stopping is more than $183 plus 3 demerit points. Now, this has been a persistent problem for years, and similar campaigns have been launched in the past. The deputy mayor was asked about that, how this campaign will be different. You will also hear from the TTC on the enforcement cameras. Here's more.
It's really important that we don't actually lose momentum and the emphasis on these rules. As was mentioned, we have so many different users on the road. We have visitors to the city, particularly in the summer time. We are seeing more of that, especially as we see more visitors from outside of the Toronto or even the GTA.
It's not going to be so different from when you drive through a community and you go over speed and you get a ticket in the mail. So it'd be something like that.
When you couple the campaign and the education with the fact that we will now have automatic enforcement, again, we've already got the company signed up. We just now need to find someone that's actually going to issue the tickets, but the actual tickets will start being sent out later this year.
Now, there's no timeline for when the automated camera pilot program will be launched, but the interim CEO for the TTC did say today he would like to see that happen in the winter months. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. U.S. President Donald Trump insists a ceasefire between Iran and Israel is still in effect, despite apparent violations by both sides.
I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either.
The U.S. president left for a NATO summit in The Hague this morning. Before departing, Trump expressed anger and frustration as he told reporters that Israel and Iran had violated the truce. But he later said the deal was saved. Now, Israel accused Iran of launching 20 missiles into its airspace, killing 4 people. The attack happened hours after Trump said a phased ceasefire had been agreed to. Iran denies firing on Israel. Now, this morning, Israel confirmed its military carried out a small strike on a radar target north of Tehran. And CTV's Scott Hurst has been following the latest developments and joins us now. Scott, where do things stand right now?
Nathan, you heard Donald Trump right there, visibly agitated at both sides for apparent violations of this ceasefire. Of course, a ceasefire that he touted yesterday that he, of course, helped broker before the two sides confirmed that they agreed to this ceasefire. And he was visibly angry at them, accusing both sides of violating as he went to a NATO summit that's being held in the Netherlands. And Trump showing anger at both sides, saying that they have violated the ceasefire ceasefire. Israel accusing Iran of launching some 20 missiles into its airspace. Israeli officials say 4 people were killed when a missile hit an apartment block in southern Israel. While this morning, Israel confirmed its military carried out a small strike on a radar target north of Tehran. However, despite these apparent violations of this fragile ceasefire carried out by carrying out the attacks on each other, U.S. President Donald Trump, as he is headed to this NATO summit in the Netherlands, says the ceasefire is still in effect for the time being. So what the international community, Nathan, is watching for in the hours and days and potentially weeks ahead is, first and foremost, will this ceasefire continue to hold despite the initial violations, according to U.S. President Donald Trump? And then, if that is the case, can that potentially lead to more diplomacy to ultimately de-escalate the entire situation between Israel and Iran?
And Scott, NATO spending also an important topic right now.
Yeah, NATO spending is one of the main topics at this NATO summit that Prime Minister Mark Carney is at, and he's also commenting on the situation around the ceasefire between Israel and Iran. And he went on to say Canada welcomes the announcement of a ceasefire between the two countries, and saying, with a reported reduction in Iran's nuclear capacity, urging both parties to continue to follow the rules of the ceasefire, and ultimately that could potentially have them return to the bargaining table and negotiate a diplomatic resolution, Nathan.
All right, CTV Scott Hurst in CTV National Newsroom. Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan.
Meanwhile, a Canadian chartered flight will leave Jordan this evening with more than 100 people on board. The Foreign Affairs Minister provided an update today on efforts to help Canadians flee the fighting.
As of today, we have helped over 500 Canadians in the region. We've deployed additional consular services throughout the region.
Canada is also helping allied nations get their citizens out of the Middle East, but the number of foreign nationals asking for help is, quote, minimal compared to the number of Canadians. There's also ground transportation available to help get Canadians out of Israel to a neighboring country. And Global Affairs has deployed more consular assistance to the region.
We have more now on the EU summit in the Netherlands. Prime Minister Mark Carney taking part in several bilateral meetings.
The main talks will not take place until tomorrow. CTV's Jeremy Charon is traveling with the Prime Minister.
The second part of Prime Minister Mark Carney's European trip gets underway today here in The Hague, where a highly anticipated NATO summit will begin. The leaders of all 32 NATO members will convene here in The Hague, where it's expected all of the focus will be on a new defense spending target. Now, Prime Minister Mark Carney and his government just pledged earlier this month to reach the current target of 2% of GDP on defense spending. They've promised to do that this fiscal year, nearly 10 years, or about 10 years after NATO members agreed to do it. The conversation this year will be on increasing that spending limit to 5% to be exact, something President Donald Trump has pushed for. He has led the charge to increase that limit, and it is expected that NATO members will agree to increase that limit here at this summit. Now, it will be broken down to allow for members to try and reach that target a little easier. It will be 3.5% on hard defense spending, with an additional 1.5% on things like infrastructure and supportive defense spending. What is not clear yet is how long members will have to reach that target. That will be part of the discussion here, as the leaders will meet tomorrow for what will be the big meeting and what will conclude Prime Minister Mark Carney's European trip, where we'll expect to get more concrete details about just how that commitment will work for the NATO members. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, The Hague.
There is a significant development in a cold case murder from 1991.
A man currently serving a life sentence for the so-called cottage murders in the GTA has now been charged in a decades-old murder north of Peterborough. CTV investigative reporter John Woodward has the details.
In the 1990s, David Snow was known as the House Hermit, named because of his break and enters into empty cottages in southern Ontario, sometimes living in them. In 1992, he told Ian and Nancy Blackburn he wanted to buy their barn on a property in Caledon. They were last seen alive on April 7th. Police searched their cottage and found Nancy Blackburn's handbag still on the bed, her medication on the dresser. Their bodies were found a week later in their car on their Toronto driveway. The cause of death, strangulation. Police at the time issued warnings to cottage-goers.
People should take care if they go up and open a cottage, they should get a good look around first before they enter the cottage.
The trail led to Snow. He had already used a rail pass to flee to BC, where he abducted and sexually assaulted 4 women. He was arrested, returned, and convicted. The Blackburn's nephew astonished at his crimes.
I've had the occasion to actually be quite close to him and stare him right in the eye, and it's just a blank stare. It just doesn't seem to be anything there.
Snow was a suspect in at least 12 murders, including that of gift shop owner Carolyn Case, also found dead in the area.
He has not shown any type of remorse at any time in my meetings with him.
Some 34 years later, the OPP visited Snow, now 70 years old, in Bath Institution to arrest him again, laying another murder charge. This time for a woman who went missing more than 6 months before the Blackburns, 40-year-old Angeline Quinnell.
The OPP never closes a case, and it doesn't matter how much time has passed.
Quinnell's family telling CTV News they hope for privacy, as the decades-old cold case will soon be prosecuted in a Peterborough courtroom. John Woodward, CTV News.
A man on a Canada-wide driving ban has been arrested in connection with a string of hit-and-runs in Mississauga. 39-year-old Gary Walker is also facing impaired driving charges. He was arrested June 12th after police responded to reports of an erratic driver near Dixie and the QEW. Police say officers began a pursuit, at which point Walker allegedly drove on a sidewalk, collided with several vehicles, struck a pole, and then attempted to carjack another driver while trying to get away. Police say Walker is unlicensed and the subject of 9 separate provincial driving prohibitions dating back to 2003.
Now to a harrowing rescue in a remote part of Algonquin Provincial Park.
It happened after a severe thunderstorm passed through the park last weekend. CTV's Katie Griffin reports.
This is what first responders were up against, trying to get to an injured Ottawa boy in Algonquin Park Saturday night.
It took hours to be able to cut our way in using chainsaws, hand saws, and with the assistance of the Deep River Fire Department, who provided some of the chainsaws to the OPP. We were finally able to make it to the shore of the lake.
During a thunderstorm with strong winds, a tree fell on the tent the 13-year-old was in. He was seriously injured.
The mom sent out an SOS message that indicated her GPS coordinates and the fact that they needed help. And that's what got our people rolling.
On North Depot at that campsite.
Ontario Provincial Police, a specialized team of Renfrew County paramedics, park rangers, and search and rescue joining forces to get to them. A harrowing 25-kilometer trek.
In this circumstance, the paramedics were really going into the unknown, recognizing that roads were washed out, that trees were down, hydro lines were down in many areas, so it was a hazardous situation to begin with.
And then they're going through brush and debris. And then, after all that, there's a 300-meter canoe trip to paddle in so they can start first aid.
The boy was treated at the scene. By morning, a float plane was able to land and fly him and his mom out. He's receiving treatment in hospital. An extraordinary effort, something first responders train for.
So our SARA team goes in fully self-contained with their own tents, their own water, their own food, their own medications, and everything they need to be able to manage someone in these critical first hours of an unfortunate event.
Collaboration, key.
Just an incredible situation, but again, so much teamwork involved. We can't say enough about how seamless this really was.
Katie Griffin, CTV News.
That severe storm over the weekend hit a wide area. Now that the dust is settled and work's continuing, we do have some breaking news to share with you. We're joined now by Connell Miller, Acting Director of the Northern Tornadoes Project at the Canadian Severe Storms Laboratory at Western University. Thanks for being with us. What have you learned about the storm?
Thanks for having me. What we've learned about the storm is that the damage that was caused at Samuel de Champlain Provincial Park was caused by a downburst. Downbursts are a different type of severe convective event compared to tornadoes, whereas tornadoes, you tend to have spinning air that raises up into the atmosphere. A downburst comes from the downdraft of a thunderstorm and creates this burst pattern that you're seeing on your screen there of trees that have fallen down. It's one of the most intense downbursts that we've seen since we started the Northern Tornadoes Project in 2017, comparable to some of the damage that we saw in the derecho in Ontario in 2022.
Wow, so a downburst, yeah, because looking at this damage, you think automatically tornado. Are downbursts uncommon or common, or give us a sense?
I would say downbursts are actually more common in Canada than tornadoes are. They can produce quite strong damage, enough damage to rip roofs off of houses. If this has happened in an urban area, especially a subdivision, I would expect to see really damaged roofs at this point. But because this occurred in a provincial park, instead what we're seeing are multiple swaths of trees down, some of the most intense tree damage that we've seen in many, many years in southwestern Ontario.
Oh, wow. How widespread is the damage?
We're still actually trying to determine that. So we know at least at this point that it's a downburst and that it's at least EF1 damage, so somewhere in the range of more than 135 kilometers an hour at that point. But what we're going to be doing over the next days to weeks with satellite imagery analysis is to try to figure out the full extent of this damage, because we received reports of damage all across central eastern Ontario. At this time, our team is actually making our way to Mallorytown, Ontario to examine damage in that area as well.
Wow, it's certainly troubling. Are you seeing at the Northern Tornadoes Project more severe weather, or is this par for the course? This can happen. It's a recipe this time of year. Are you concerned?
Yeah, it's not uncommon to have events like this that are occurring in June. We're starting to get into the peak of tornado season, which tends to occur in July and August. So seeing a thunderstorm like this in southwestern Ontario producing this level of damage is not incredibly uncommon. One of the things that we're seeing from research from both Canada and the United States is that Tornado Alley is shifting eastwards. So we're seeing a lot more events in southwestern Ontario all the way up into the Nickel Belt, compared to what we've seen in previous years. So it's a troubling trend, especially when a lot of Canadians live in that Windsor to Quebec City corridor.
Well, we appreciate you breaking that news for us today. Connell Miller at the University of Western Ontario. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, take care. Now, we're getting an update this hour on the redevelopment of Ontario Place. Premier Doug Ford and the Infrastructure and Tourism Ministers have called together reporters at the Ontario Place grounds. Let's listen in live.
For people living here in the city, looking to enjoy the scenery along the lakeshore, or spend a day at the beach. And it will welcome visitors from across the province and around the world, coming to see some of the great new attractions that will be on offer. It will be a destination for all of Ontario, while something for everyone. That includes a new state-of-the-art Ontario Science Centre, as well as Live Nation's revitalized year-round amphitheatre, and Therme Canada's family-friendly water park on the West Island, which will also include an additional beach and park space for the public to enjoy. You can just imagine people strolling along the shoreline at sunset, enjoy stunning beaches and wetlands, canoeing, boating, kayaking along our beautiful waters, and taking in concerts, markets, and festivals. This is going to be spectacular, something this country's never seen. We're also making it easier for people to get to Ontario Place by building a new, publicly owned, revenue-generating parking structure, which will be blended into the surrounding area with a landscape berm on the site of a current parking lot. This new parking structure will make it easier for school groups visiting from places like Markham or Mississauga to spend a day at the new Science Centre, and it will make it more convenient for families coming from, let's say, Niagara or London or Durham or anywhere across our province to enjoy a concert or spend the day at the water park. Just imagine that. You can come down here, spend a whole day. You can come to the water park. You can go on the beaches. You can go to the great state-of-the-art, world-class Science Centre. And at nighttime, you can wrap up at the concert. It's going to be spectacular. And of course, Ontario Place will be just steps away from the expanded GO train service and the new Ontario Line subway at Exhibition Station, which will make it quick and convenient for visitors from across Toronto, across Ontario, and the Greater Golden Horseshoe. It's all designed to create a world-class, family-friendly waterfront destination that will attract up to 6 million visitors I'm going to repeat that, 6 million visitors. There'll be nothing comparable in Canada that will have 6 million visitors each and every single year. These investments in Ontario Place will create 5,000 jobs in construction and tourism sectors. I'm going to stop there for a second. This would not happen with the without the hardworking men and women over there. Hardworking men and women that were up there, they're back to work now, and everywhere around the park. But think of that, 5,000 people bringing home a paycheck, and then thousands as we open up. They're going to boost the economic growth across the region. In the face of the tariffs and economic uncertainty, they'll help keep workers on the job and provide fantastic new destination for people to visit, all while supporting Ontario's $33 billion tourism industry. Our government is returning this iconic destination to the people of Ontario. We're building a world-class year-round destination.
You're listening to Premier Doug Ford touting the Ontario Place redevelopment, the Therma Spa, the new Science Centre is going to be built there. Certainly this project has not been without controversy and criticism. The projections, the budget has gone over, as well as the AG report suggesting that the process giving it to Therma wasn't fair, transparent, or accountable. A whole bunch of reporters have lots of questions about how the project is doing. We know construction is underway. We're going to leave it here. We'll keep tabs on it, and we'll bring you any developments as they become available. Throw it over to you, Lindsay.
Well, thanks, Michelle. And of course, we continue to follow the heat and humidity that has invaded southern Ontario. For some, this kind of weather is fun. For others, it can be quite dangerous. So here's a reminder of some of the symptoms you want to be aware of when it comes to a heat-related illness. A common one in conditions like this, sweating, nausea, dizziness. And then when it comes to heat stroke, that's more serious. You want to be aware of no sweating, confusion, or worst case, lack of consciousness. Yesterday, we reached a high of 36 degrees in Toronto. It's not official yet, but we will go ahead and call that a record. And as mentioned earlier in the newscast, it's our hottest temperature in about a decade. How is the weather looking from here? We are going to cool down. Relief is on the way. We'll take you through the 7-day forecast after the break.
Well, it is another steamy day in the city. Not quite as hot temperature-wise as yesterday, but there's still that humidity. Are we starting to get used to it now?
I think so. I mean, mornings aren't so bad. Evenings are great. But the middle of the day, that's really, I guess, the biggest concern. Tough to adjust.
It is, yeah, the middle of the day. We often call it the height of the day or the peak of the afternoon. But interestingly enough, at this time of year, the days are so long. We have so many hours of daytime heating that we've been reaching our daytime high at 5 p.m. the last couple of days. So yes, it is a long haul, this heat wave. It feels longer than the average one, but relief is coming as early as tomorrow, and then you'll really notice it into Thursday. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers, you don't pay unless they win. It's not just us feeling the heat. Right around the province, this was Barrie yesterday. Scorcher of a day there. Lots of people enjoying the waterfront, Kempenfelt Bay. That was a good place to go to cool off. And then in southwestern Ontario, which is typically, we call it the banana belt of Ontario. Windsor, traditionally one of the hottest cities. London as well, used to feeling the heat. It was a scorcher there yesterday too. Heat warnings have now come to an end for communities around Georgian Bay, and we are going to start to see a little bit of a pattern change over the next couple of days here. This upper air pattern, it doesn't directly reflect the temperature, but it gives us some guidance. And yes, cooler air does look like it's on the way as we make our way toward the second half or the latter half of this work and school week. Look at the heat once again across the eastern parts of the United States. Now along the U.S. eastern seaboard as well, it is feeling into the 40s. There's our heat warning. As mentioned, it's come to an end for some communities, parts of Cottage Country, the Bruce Peninsula, and around Wasaga Beach. You won't find it quite as oppressive there today as it was the last couple of days. Not so much the case here in Toronto. This is day 3 of a bona fide heat wave. 34 is our forecast high for today. May not end up being record-breaking. We need to climb above 35.6 degrees today in order for that to happen. I'm not going to go ahead and say that it's not going to happen, but chances are we will stay slightly below that for today. And then your evening at a glance, slight risk of a thunder shower today. It's not looking like a sure thing. It's about a 30% chance. Better chance of some of that active weather happening along the north shore of Lake Erie and into Niagara. Overnight tonight, 20 degrees for the low. That's a little bit better than 25. That's as low as it got last night. And then tomorrow's high back in the 20s, 29, feeling like 34. So a bit of an improvement overall. Not much to show you here on the satellite and radar. There are some thunderstorms that are rumbling across the Midwestern United States. Let me show you how that plays out for us here in southern Ontario. There's that risk of thunderstorms for later on this late afternoon and evening. West end of the GTA, higher chance of being impacted compared to downtown Toronto. Midday tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud. And then we're going to watch for Thursday for perhaps a round of wet weather. Showers possible into Friday as well. Look at Thursday's high, 23 degrees. That's it. Suddenly we are below seasonal. And then into the weekend, we're going to dry out again and see temperatures climb to about 30 by next Monday. That's your look at the forecast. Michelle, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, still to come on CTV News at noon, an important note about searching for well-known agencies online. Hackers are hijacking search results to trick people into going to look-alike websites. Pat Foran has a consumer alert just ahead.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, many of us, most of us, use search engines several times a day to find products and services, and most of the time there are no problems.
However, some criminals are now creating websites that look like the real thing to try and steal your banking and personal information. CTV's Pat Foran has the details.
How was I supposed to know it was a scammer? I really didn't know that.
Ruth Jean of London operates her own company and needed to set up a business account with the Canada Revenue Agency. In March, she did a Google search to find the CRA's website.
And I clicked on it. It opened out. The CRA name was on there.
Jean says she was asked to put in her social insurance number and other personal information. Then she was asked for her banking details.
I asked for the card number, the ATM password, and the expiration date for the card and all that information. So I put it in. After I submit the information, the screen went blank.
Jean was on a fake spoof CRA website that looked like the real thing. Once criminals had her banking information, they emptied her bank account of more than $26,000.
You thought you were on the real PC Financial website?
Of course I did.
Earlier this year, we did a story with a senior trying to buy GICs who also got caught in a fake website scam that cost him $750,000.
I've got zero, nothing.
We reached out to Google, and a spokesperson said, when we find ads that breach our policies, we take immediate action, including removing the ads and suspending advertiser accounts when necessary.
Individuals can actually pay to have their listing right at the top, and some of those listings are not verified, and they're what we call spoofed websites.
Cybersecurity experts say you need to make sure you're on the proper website before entering financial information. Third-party link checkers can also help detect fraud.
The easiest way is to read the URL, which is the address, the domain address, up in the browser. Make sure that it's accurate, that it's spelled accurately. Look for the padlock in the browser. That padlock means that there is a security certificate and that your information is encrypted.
Jean says she is devastated to lose her hard-earned money.
I feel sad. I feel like angry. I was just trying to sign up for a business account on CRA.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
All right, let's head to Market Street, and that's where a summer festival aimed at bringing music to the street is taking place, and that's where we find CTV's Jessica Smith. Hey, Jess.
Hey, Nathan, it's hot out here, but I don't think the folks out here mind too much. We've got live music going on, and we're in street festival season. I'm joined by Robin. Talk to me about the iHeart Street Market, because we've got live performances tonight, or heading into the rest of the summer. We've got salsa. There's so much happening.
There is a lot happening. Welcome to Market Street in Old Town Toronto. We have music on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at lunchtime and at dinner. It is hot out, but we have umbrellas. There's shade under the market, and there's some wonderful vendors and restaurants to go to get food and nice cold drinks to have. So we want to have you all come down and check it out.
It really is so unique to have, something like this in the heart of the city, and this is really so special. This is a pedestrian walkway here. Talk to me about the performances, the singers, because it's a Canadian group that's really kind of helping to put forward Canadian emerging artists.
That's correct. So we work with Canada's Music Incubators, which is a wonderful group of people, a not-for-profit that gets young musicians, emerging musicians, Canadian musicians to come and they play here at our Music on Market Street, and we also do music in St. James Park with all kinds of different varieties of music, because this area is very multicultural and we want to explore that and experience that, and it's all great for welcoming people from outside the city to come in and enjoy it.
So true, and we have Ji-Sun here. She's been singing, most of the afternoon. She's doing a fantastic job. Lots of people coming out to see her. For folks who have never been to this market before, what can they expect? Because this is my first time here, and I'm seeing all the kind of favorites when it comes to food. You've got tour buses of people coming in, but what can people expect if this is their first time coming down?
I think you can just expect to be feeling very welcome, to come and enjoy this space. It's just bring your own picnic and sit on at the tables. It's very free-flowing, and it is just very welcoming. This is an area that just embraces people from all over the world, and they love to have them come here and see what a wonderful neighborhood this is, which it is. So come on down.
And kicking off in the rest of the summer, there's something I heard about, some salsa lessons. I like to get my salsa on in snacks and in dance, but talk to me about when that begins.
So we are working with the team who do salsa in Toronto, and they're going to be doing a salsa event here on Friday, if Jessica handles the weather properly. So if the weather's not great, we're going to go into the temporary market tent down here. So from 6 till 8 o'clock, come down, and there'll be teachers teaching you how to do salsa dancing, and then just free dance. And then we're going to have two more, one in July 11th, I think, or one July 18th. And then August 10th, we'll have a Salsa on Market Street event on a Sunday from 10 till 6.
Well, Lindsay and I are going to tag team the weather. She's on the weather front, and she's got us covered. But we're going to have so much fun. OldTownToronto.ca for more information. Robin, thank you so much. We're going to enjoy the music. We're going to send things back inside.
Ooh, enjoy. Gosh, what a wonderful time of year. Now to another story out of the downtown core, what's being called a new icon on Toronto's skyline.
A banner was unfurled today on what will be Canada's first super tall building. Now, the designation became official this morning when construction at 1 Bloor West surpassed the 300-meter mark in height. Once complete, it'll be the tallest residential building in the country at 85 stories and the second tallest human-made structure after the CN Tower. The building at Yonge and Bloor will also feature retail space and a luxury hotel. We'll have more details later today on our 5 and 6 o'clock newscasts.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Well, the Blue Jays may have had a game yesterday, but the team got some encouraging news ahead of next month's All-Star game.
Vladdy drives the ball way back to left field, and that ball is out of here.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. currently sits first in voting among first basemen with more than 1.1 million votes. He will tie a franchise record if the fans select him to be an All-Star for a fourth time. Guerrero's teammate Alejandro Kirk currently sits second in the catchers category.
The province has taken another step on the path to end the long wait to access primary care. In April, the Ministry of Health put out a call for pitches to create or expand primary health teams. The aim is to connect 300,000 more people to primary care by the end of the year. And now the government has also announced 130 teams will get a portion of $235 million to help more patients in communities with the greatest need.
This investment is part of our government's $2.1 billion primary care action plan to connect everyone in Ontario to a publicly funded family care doctor or primary care team.
We know that many have waited a long time for this, and while it won't happen overnight, teams will begin accepting patients in the coming weeks and months.
The goal is to have every Ontarian linked to primary care by 2029.
Well, it was a delivery that left doctors doing a double take and broke hospital records. A baby named Grayson had a big entrance into our world a year ago, tipping the scales at a whopping 15 pounds.
And just ahead of his first birthday, CTV's Luke Samar caught up with the family of the biggest baby born in Orillia.
Daddy messed it up.
Meet Grayson, a soon-to-be one-year-old baby. When Grayson was born, he weighed a staggering 15 pounds and 10 ounces, a weight not seen before at Orillia Soldiers Memorial Hospital, making a case for the largest baby ever born in Ontario.
He was 24.5 inches long, and his head was 42.5 centimeters, I believe. Correct. I did have a planned C-section for that day, so we left here bright and early, I believe 4 o'clock in the morning, I think it was.
With a baby born of that size, there came challenges, especially after birth.
He was wearing a size 3 diaper, which isn't very common for a newborn baby, but the hospital was very good with, getting their hands on the resources that we needed.
When Orillia Soldiers Memorial Hospital went to register Grayson's weight, they ran into a unique situation.
When Grayson was born, the team went to enter his weight into the Ontario registry, and we were surprised to find out that his weight exceeded the upper limit. We had to actually call the Ontario registry, and they had to manually update it on their end, which was a first for us.
Grayson would wear clothing for a 6-month-old baby right after birth, but his growth has now slowed down, looking and acting as an 11-month-old baby should. The family sharing their story in hopes of encouraging families to trust the process of your pregnancy if having a larger baby.
There were challenges and obstacles with Grayson at the beginning, and lots of unknowns, even from, healthcare professionals and everything, but we got through it all, and I mean, he's thriving. He's doing amazing.
According to Born Ontario, Grayson's birth weight of 15 pounds and 10 ounces would put him in the top 0.01 percentile of weight when it comes to babies being born. Grayson, a happy and healthy baby, will be turning 1 on July 4th. Luke Samard, CTV News, Orillia.
Well, back to the weather. This extreme heat can have a greater impact on the most vulnerable, including children.
CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan has more on the best ways to keep kids safe as this temperature soars.
A splash and some cool, refreshing water is just what the doctor ordered for this heat wave. But for the very young, the elderly, those with respiratory issues, or with no air conditioning, some extra caution must be taken to avoid heat-related illness. Babies and toddlers are especially vulnerable.
First of all, their sweat glands are a little bit more immature. Their internal regulations are not as efficient. And they also have a higher surface area to body ratio. So they don't sweat as much.
Plus, they can't talk yet.
They can't tell us that they're overheated or dehydrated.
Dr. Natasha Kalia says heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke are all part of a spectrum.
We start with heat like skin rashes. We start with heat syncope or fainting, and then heat cramps.
The next level of symptoms is heat exhaustion, when you start sweating excessively.
Other things you might see with heat exhaustion is just feeling fatigue, flushed skin. You might feel a little dry around the lips, dry, cracked lips. You'll feel tired. You'll maybe sometimes even feel dizzy, lightheaded, faint, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain.
And heat stroke is a life-threatening condition when the body is no longer able to sweat to cool off.
Now there might be organ damage, talking about heart, lung, kidneys, and even brain. We may see seizures with heat stroke. That is where, if you do not recognize those symptoms and you do not seek medical attention early, those can be fatal.
Dr. Colia says during a heat wave such as this, sick kids might see several cases of heat-related illness in a week.
Her advice for parents: keep a close eye on the weather forecast so you're prepared for the heat, avoid going out at the hottest times of the day, and keep the kids hydrated and not just water.
Hydration with electrolytes is super important.
She also points out that children overheat 3 to 5 times faster than adults, so never leave them or even your pets unattended in a car for even a few minutes. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Coming up, a spectacle of nature in a BC neighborhood as 2 bears square off in a brawl.
Traffic was brought to a standstill in Burnaby, BC on the weekend when two black bears got into a disagreement on a residential street. Check it out. They got into it. The bears seemed to ignore vehicles on the street as they wrestled each other for about an hour. Now, fights like this are not uncommon, but don't typically happen in front of humans. Everyone waited patiently from a distance until the brawl was done. Eventually, the bears wandered back into the woods like nothing happened. What do you think was the reason for this fight?
I want to know.
What was the issue?
Regardless, the fur was flying. Yeah, maybe the heat, right? It makes you angry a little bit. I don't know, maybe that's it.
Although, interestingly enough, we are feeling the heat here. Out west, they're actually getting a bit of a cool down.
Go figure.
That's a story
for a girl.
That's what my first thought.
That's a story for another time. Let's talk about our heat one more time. A look at the current temperature. Yeah, it's 34 degrees already. We reached our forecast daytime high. Let's see if we can climb any higher. It feels into the 40s. Again, yes, this has been a true heat wave, and it's not over yet. Overnight tonight, we're dropping to a low of 20. There's tomorrow. You know it's been hot when suddenly 29, feeling like 34, is our cool day. And it's going to get even cooler into Thursday and Friday, so relief is coming. Have the umbrella handy for those days. We'll dry out again over the weekend. Nathan and Michelle.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay. And that's CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at CTVNewsToronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Duvet.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great afternoon.